Whenever I introduce long vowel sounds, and in our thought drawing we use a long vertical line to remind us, I get asked, but what about? And those questions are nearly always about the different ways we use to write the sound A. So we're going to have a quick look at them. We aren't going to be covering them now in our teaching, that will come later. But just in case you've been sitting thinking, but what about? I'm just going to go over it very quickly. If we hear A at the end of a syllable, and that's a piece of a word, we use the letter A. In a couple of lessons' time, we will also be thinking about when we hear A all on its own in a syllable, and that's the same spelling choice. But if you hear A in the middle of a word, like male, that is a male dog, we use A again, but this time we leave a space and then we write the letter E. The space in the middle, because we call this choice a consonant E, is for the letter you need for the sound that comes after A. And in male, the sound that we can hear is L. So we write the letter L. Sometimes, and you might have spotted that, we use this spelling at the beginning of a little word as well. A consonant E. But what about if we're talking about the mail that we get from the postman? Exactly the same sounds, but we need a different spelling for the sound A in this word. This time it's written A-I. And you will have spotted why spelling the English language can be really tricky. The words sound exactly the same, but we spell them in a different way depending upon their meaning. Now, when we get to that stage in the teaching, you will be taught a strategy to help you remember which is which. So don't worry about that just now. But we may have the word may. See? I just used it then. If we hear A at the end of a word, it is a completely different spelling from when we hear A at the end of a syllable. We use A-Y. Now I have to add, because this is the English language, that we usually use these spelling choices. Sometimes you are going to come across words that use a different set of letters, but these are the spelling choices that are used most often. These spelling choices are included in a computer's spell checker, but they can get very confused with this spelling choice. And by they, I mean the spell checker system. And sometimes you get no help at all. Which is why we are thinking about words with more than one syllable that use this spelling choice. Thank you for joining me.